Welcome to the video on debt and credit card strategies, credit hack. If you want to know the rules and the way to keep your file to get the highest score and the largest accounts and get you set up for the most amount of funding, this is how you're going to do it. Regarding credit cards, I'm going to go over a whole rules video, but until then, I'm going to give you the directions on how to handle your credit cards and your debt. The most proficient way to set you up to get the maximum amount of funding. Now, when I get your file set up and you follow all directions, everything, you want me to get the maximum funding because I can guarantee I can get you the maximum funding ratio. That means everywhere I take you, I already know the shots and I can get you the maximum amount of credit or loan possible. And that's not getting you credit cards and crap and not coming back with like 50% approvals or 40% or declines or even 60% garbage, which just ruins your file and keeps it going backwards. Now, since nobody knows about this because they don't even know how to do anything but credit card funding, and they can barely even do that, the only way to go from one level to the next is get an exponential amount of funding because you max out the maximum funding ratio every single time and allows you to get exponential. That's why even on a personal file, I could get anywhere from 100 to 400,000. Now, if I was to do business credit cards, sometimes I've gotten credit cards up to 800,000 back when I was doing that, but normally I get people credit lines and loans. If you want business credit funding on credit cards with the crappy CORP that you have, I guarantee I can get you more than all these other people get on their idea or impression of what funding is, even on a credit card level. You want to take that money and get into a real setup and get into real money, I can get you on that path as well. So, just saying that. Okay, so let's get into the credit card strategy and the debt strategy on your personal file, because a personal file determines everything. You can't start out with NOPG and a weak personal file and get any real big money. So this is how you're going to continue setting up your file in the right manner. So first off, all your credit cards, personal credit cards, should be over $5,000, $5,000 minimum. Now, if you have a bunch of credit cards if you have several credit cards of the same brand, like Chase's or whatever, you've got different ones at small amounts, 2,500 or 2,000 or 1,000, everything. First off, what you're going to do is contact them and try and combine them into the maximum amount. So if you have two cards at 2,000 or two cards at 3,000 or something like that, you're going to combine them. Like the 2,000, you want to go call them up, say I want to dump the one credit card and get one for maximum 4,000, and or dump the two cards at 3,000 and get one for 6,000. That builds your whole file up and everything like that. So that's the only time that scenario usually goes through, and the lender has no problem doing that. And you would go ahead and get rid of the smaller one and make sure you have everything over $5,000. So that is a trick number one. Also, if you're getting credit cards, you don't want to get credit cards because even if it's at 0 APR, it's baby amount credit limits, and once they take out a success fee and you do a cash advance or you transfer money out of your credit card, even in the first 6 months, they're going to decline your credit limits and it's going to raise your DTI and drop your credit score. So you all know that, everybody knows that. But if you do have credit cards, I would say do not get any more. But if you have the credit cards that you do have, try and combine. If you have the two similar kinds, try and combine the limit to get the maximum limit on the two and get rid of one. And if you only have one credit card and it's a smaller limit, other than Credit One and the little baby stuff under 1,000, but if you're around 3,000, 4,000, or whatever, all that kind of stuff, you can go ahead and contact them and try and get a lower rate and or get a higher credit limit. Now, I'm just giving you general ideas on how to build your file and everything. which is general information. Now, if you want to hire me ahead of time for funding, I do a $1,000 retainer. If you want to hire me ahead of time, I'll go strategically and custom tailor a plan for your file and exactly what you need to do with every card, and help you remove the lower limit stuff, because things below $1,000 or even $2,500 have to come off your credit. The really baby stuff is doing nothing but going to set you back. So that stuff's got to go, inquiries got to go, and all these things. So if you want to hire me ahead of time to set you up for the maximum funding, that's a good move. Or if not, you could try it on your own, and then when you do hire me for funding, I will tell you how much you can get. But I guarantee you doing it on your own and bringing it to me, I could set it up to where you'll get even more money, maximum money. So it's the best investment you can get. So that's two rules. Combine two cards of the same name to get one with the maximum amount of credit. Or if you have one, you might want to check with me first, just so you make sure you're doing the right move. You would try and get that credit limit increased. Okay, so now if you have that, when you do have your credit cards, you're going to set it up for auto pay, and of course pay it before the statement date. And when you're making your payments, you would try and pay on your credit cards 2 times a month. There's points in funding where you want 0 DTI, and there's points in funding where you're going to want to have more DTI. It all matters on which part of the funding phase you're in. Now, if you have a lot of credit card debt or credit card debts, or if you're maxed out on all your credit cards, you have a great file and you're maxed out on all your credit cards, there's only one way out of it. And that's one, you pay all your debts down to about 40%, and then I could take over and get you funding on the rest. Or 2, you can come to me and I could get you funding for your spouse, partner, or PG or whoever. Then we pay down all your debts and then go back and pay off your personal guarantee person as well. If you're just doing it on your own, the way you're going to pay off all your credit card debts is not pay off the smallest ones first. That's not the right method. You want to pay off the highest interest rate ones first, or down to the 30 or 45%. Well, 30%. 40 if it's a stronger file. If it's a really strong file, I've gotten funding when it's at 55% DTI. But it has to be a really strong file. So the weaker file, you got to go down to 40 or 30. If it's kind of a weak file, you got to go down to 30. Then I can start to get your funding. So you want to pay off the highest interest rate cards down to that point, and then go down to the next highest interest rate. Don't start out with the smallest cards first. Once you got the highest interest rate cards paid off, you're going to pay things off faster, and then you're going to go with the smaller stuff. At some point, you want to hire me to get rid of the small stuff off your credit completely, because you got a bunch of stuff below 1,000. You just strangled yourself. Maybe even below, even below 2,500, you pretty much hung yourself, because it destroyed your file. It's no good. That's the problem when you go with all these other people, business funding or personal funding, and you go on their credit card path or whatever the credit card path they're doing, since everybody loves credit cards, and they got the small stuff, or you get a ton of negatives and inquiries, that's dropping your file. So also, if you do have credit card debt, you don't want to go to debt settlement or consumer credit counseling, because it still shows up on your credit as the same thing as a collection, or no matter what, it drops your score. So the best thing is, if you're going to do that, just hire me to get rid of it completely. So that is important. If you do the highest interest rate pay down first, you're going to get most progress, and you're going to do it fastest. So if you're maxed out completely, the best way out of the maxed out completely scenario is a partner. We fund them, use them to pay down yours, and then we go with that. And sometimes also, if you want to get into the real money and you have a partner with better credit, or you find a partner, we go straight into corporate credit and get the big money, pay yours down, and then go back and pay them off. I mean, I have had some clients that have had wives, girlfriends, and all this stuff, and did it numerous times. I mean, one client probably did it like 8 times. There's only one scenario, one of the persons didn't get paid off, and they contacted me years later, and I helped them out, got them credit repair, and got them funding. But normally, of course, you want to pay back whoever helps you out. So, but that is the best way to get out of a completely full debt, maxed out DTI. So this is a short video. Check my other videos out on the rest of building your file. And then if you want credit repair, or you want to get corporate funding, or get in commercial real estate and make some real bank, give me a call. My number is 312-473-4163. Thanks for watching.